Welcome to second grade back to school night.
Hi parents, I'm Mrs. Poole and I'm one of the second grade teachers, and this evening I want to share a little bit of information with you about student expectations. So I'm going to share my screen with you real quick and we can get started. All right, so if you notice these four big words, responsibility, self-discipline, self-reliance, and independence, these four words we have been talking a lot about in our social studies unit for citizenship. But responsibility and independence are two huge words that we really try to focus on in second grade. Responsibility, making sure that they're responsible for themselves and their actions. And obviously independence is exactly what it sounds like, completing their work independently. So let's go on and continue talking about these. The responsibility part is what we want from our students is being responsible for their supplies and completing their assignments. We as teachers are give very specific directions what we want our students to do. So it's going to be their responsibility to make sure that they're listening during our small or large group settings and making sure that they're understanding the directions of what is expected from them. Self-discipline is basically staying on task during our whole and small group lessons and using SOAR characteristics. SOAR is something that we use when we're at school, but we have integrated it into our Zoom lessons as well. And self-reliance, what we would like the students to be able to do is to log into Zoom and Canvas on their own. Now, I realize at this age they may not be real proficient at telling time, but perhaps you could set a timer or something like that. So when that timer goes off, they know that that's the time that they have to get on to a Zoom call. Independence, we want them to become independent learners. We want them to be able to complete their assignments and their assessments by themselves. So in the very beginning of the year, we do complete assignments very guided. But as the year progresses, it's a gradual release so that each 9 weeks, we are giving them more and more responsibility and independence as they complete their assignments. By the end of the year, they should be able to have the directions given to them on the assignment and take it and do it completely on their own. But for our virtual lessons, we want them to try to be independent learners. So let's continue on with this, with our slides. As far as the kids' workspaces, now organization is one of our soaring characteristics. So what we want is for the students to have their own workspace, just like they would in the classroom. They have their desk, they have their workspace at home. So that means we want their supplies, not only the supplies that we provided for them in their learning bags, but also the supplies that you have bought for them from the store in one central location. And keep it organized in a basket, in a box, whatever you find is suitable for your family. And have it in that place so that when the kids need to get something, they can just reach over, grab what they need, and be ready to continue working. That also means that when they are done with it for that day, they put it back into that spot and keeping it organized. If possible, it would be nice for the students to be working in the same location every day. So it's kind of like their little special place for their schoolwork. I know sometimes distractibility can be a problem for students, especially if you have a large family or there's lots of things going on in your house. But if at all possible, having their workspace being free of distractions would be helpful to them. That means no toys, no stuffed animals, TV should be off, no music on, because sometimes that can be very distracting to students. So that workspace should be their own workspace, and it should be something that they can call their own. All right, so I've also included their supply list that we have asked the parents to buy, just like we would in the beginning of any school year. These are supplies that they should be keeping in their workspace as well. And when we go back, hopefully in November, they will be able to bring these supplies into the classroom with them. And the last thing I want to talk to you about are some of the resources that we are using. So I know by now you've heard us talk about Flipgrid, and Flipgrid is something that we have been using to help the students turn in their assignments. It has definitely been a work in progress for some of the students, but I think a lot of them are getting pretty proficient at it, which is great. What we've done in our modules, each teacher has linked their Flipgrids directly to their particular Flipgrids. And so all the students have to do is go into the module, see that little green button or whatever their teacher has put in there for Flipgrid, click on it. A lot of times they just have to put their username in, and that's very teacher specific. And then that takes them directly to that Flipgrid. Once they're there, they have to record their whatever their assignment may be, and then they have to take a selfie and submit, and it's done. So what we want is for the students to be able to do that all by themselves. Another resource we're going to be starting very soon is iStation. Now, if you've been in kindergarten or first grade here at Ashland, you know what iStation is. It's a reading program that the students can practice their reading skills in. But every month we will take a monthly assessment on it, and it's all done through the computer, obviously. But between assessment times, it would be great if you could encourage your kids to access iStation a few times a week. Just like 15 minutes a couple times a week would be great practice for the kids while they're at home. A great idea to use on Mondays if you've caught up with all of your work. More information will be coming home to explain iStation to all of you. And lastly, our electronic resource list, a list of a lot of our user names and passwords for some of the resources that we use. This is very teacher specific. Hopefully your teachers have sent those out already, but honestly, the best way for students to get into RazKids or Epic or Dreambox is to go through Clever, because if you go through Clever, then you do not need to use a lot of the passwords that they need. So I hope this is helpful information. Please reach out to your teacher if you have any further questions. Thank you.
Hello families, my name is Mrs. Crosby, and I'm going to talk to you about Ashland's Zoom rules and expectations. Students at Ashland are expected to exemplify these characteristics in school and while on Zoom: supportive, organized, attentive, and respectful. We call these the Falcon 4. Please take a look at the school-wide Zoom class rules and expectations poster. These rules and expectations were developed with Dr. Jacks and Ashland teachers. All of your children have seen this poster and have been introduced to all characteristics the first week of school. Let's look at each characteristic a little bit more closely. What does it mean to be supportive during Zoom class? We expect students to focus on the speaker, to use nonverbal signals during instruction, and to celebrate the things that make us unique. Students have been taught to use the reactions button, which includes a hand clap symbol and a thumbs up symbol. That will appear on their screen. This is something that we use every day as a nonverbal signal and to celebrate others. Let's move on to our next characteristic, organized. What does it look like to be organized during Zoom class? We expect students to be prepared with their materials, to make sure that their device is charged, and to be in an appropriate workspace. It's very important that your child has all of their supplies within an arm's reach. When students are in school, their supplies are in their desk within an arm's reach. We expect the same thing at home, so optimal learning can take place. Let's move on to the next characteristic, attentive. What does it look like to be attentive during Zoom class? We expect students to use mute when not speaking, to follow the conversation, and to stay on topic. We would suggest making sure your child is using speaker view instead of gallery view to help follow the conversation easily. Here's a picture of both. You can see how distracting gallery view could be for a second grader. Speaker view will help them focus on their learning. Now, of course, there are times when we want everyone to see their friends in gallery view, but during teacher instruction, speaker view is going to be the best option. To switch between gallery view and speaker view, you're going to click on the words in the upper right-hand corner, like you see here. Also, we recommend using the headphones provided by the school to help your child stay attentive. This will help lessen any noise distraction. And the last characteristic is respectful. What does it look like to be respectful in Zoom class? We expect students to be kind and include others, to act as if they were in the classroom, and to use digital citizenship. The most important part of this characteristic is to act as if you're in the regular classroom. We expect students to follow directions quickly, to raise their hand for permission to speak, or to leave their seat, and to make smart choices throughout learning. Please help your child soar every day in Zoom class. Together we soar higher.
Hi, second grade families. My name is Miss Hari, and I just want to talk to you a little bit about some tips that we have for parents. One of our major goals in second grade is that the children really start to foster some independence and they're able to complete a lot of these tasks on their own with limited to no support from you. Since we are in a virtual classroom this year, that means that we're hoping that they can log into the computer by themselves. Of course, the first couple tries, it will probably take a while, but hopefully after a while, they'll be able to log in both their username and password without any help from you. We want to remind you that anytime we're giving an assessment, such as the PALS assessment or other math assessments or language arts assessments we'll be doing this year, it's really important that you don't help your child. You can even step out of the room if you'd like to. I understand some parents want to be there for moral support. Just make sure that you're not assisting your child in any way. It's really best for the child, so that way we are able to get an accurate read of where they're at with that area of learning. Another area of independence that we're hoping to build with our students is through Zoom and Canvas. So getting them logged into Zoom through the Canvas platform, and then ensuring that they can use functions on Zoom such as start and stop video and mute, things like that that we've been going over since the first day of school. Finally, our online tools that we're using such as Flipgrid, Dreambox, Epic, it's really important that your child can also log into those things and utilize those as well without any support from you. So again, it will probably take some time in the beginning, but the more independent the children can be, the better. Thanks so much.
Hi, I'm Mrs. Whalen, and I will also be talking about tips for parents. Because this school year looks different for a variety of reasons, it is more important than ever to create routines for your student. In order to maintain some sense of normalcy for the distance learning school day, creating and sticking to a routine or schedule will be imperative. Some routines might include, but are not limited to, chunks of time set aside for breakfast, morning work, language arts block, lunch, encore, and math block. Having a routine and schedule will help your child be as successful as possible throughout online learning. It will also help them become more independent as they get used to the routine. One important component of a routine is setting a bedtime. Just like during the normal school year, students should be going to bed at an appropriate time to ensure they are ready to learn the following day. In our normal classrooms, we typically post our daily schedules for students to be aware of what is to come in the day. Posting the second grade schedule and this week's learning document near your child's workspace will assist in their independence and will help your child learn the routines. Likewise, because independence is something that we hope for our second graders, it would be beneficial to post your students' usernames and passwords in their work area. You can use the electronic resources document provided by your classroom teacher. Lastly, in order to be our best selves this year and grow as learners, our expectations in Zoom will be similar to the expectations we would have in the classroom. Some of the expectations that we have during Zoom to limit distractions and enhance learning are removing toys, eating before or after Zoom instead of during it, and kindly refraining from having our furry family members sitting on our lap during instruction. Lastly, if possible, please encourage your child to keep their camera on to ensure engagement and participation.
Hi, second grade families. My name is Lauren D'Antenis, and I am a part of the second grade team. Today, I am going to be talking about the first quarter's learning content and also what grading will look like this quarter. Here is a chart of some of the big ideas we are going to be covering during the first quarter. You can follow along with this chart and then see in the Canvas modules what matches up. Other review assignments or additional assignments might take place, but this is a great look at the big ideas coming your way in the first quarter of second grade. You will notice that if it is a social studies content week, we do not have a new science content week happening. The first quarter ends on October 30th. All assignments given from September 15th through October 30th should be submitted by that date. Parent conferences will be held virtually on Monday, November 2nd. Teachers will grade 6 assignments per subject. Usually, teachers grade 9 assignments per subject, but that was changed by the county to account for our late start. Assignments will be collected virtually via several platforms, mostly Canvas, Flipgrid, and Nearpod, to name a few of our favorites. Students can submit assignments through the week, with Mondays used as a day for asynchronous learning and catching up on missed assignments. Canvas modules and assignments will always be available for students. However, Flipgrid topics will be hidden at the end of every month they are posted. Please try, boys and girls, to get your work done the week that it is assigned and use that Monday time wisely. Reach out to your teacher if you're having any troubles with this. Here is a look at our grading scale. In second grade, you can get S+ on assignments. These assignments exceed grade level standards. Students consistently meet requirements for exceptional work and demonstrate a high level of knowledge and understanding. If you think that you earn an S+, make sure that you can say this statement to yourself: I know and can do it well enough to make connections that were not taught. An S is another grade that you can receive in second grade. This means that you meet grade level requirements, consistently meet requirements for proficient work, and demonstrate acceptable levels of knowledge and understanding. You could say, I know and can do everything that was taught, making few mistakes. An S- is another grade that you may receive on an assignment in second grade. This means you are approaching grade level standards. You meet some requirements for proficient work and demonstrate some knowledge and understanding. You might say, I know and can do all the easy parts, but I do not know and cannot do the harder parts. Finally, we have the grade of an N. An N means that there is consistent requirement from the teacher to direct and assist the student on assignments. An N will also be given if no assignment is submitted after several reminders from the teacher.